welcome. We're going to be defining curls with hair color. So how this technique came about was I did my girlfriend's hair the other night, Carrie Davis, some of you guys might know her, and she was asking what I was doing, and I said, I'm defining your curls, and she was like, how? So I put her new growth application on, and then I'm going to show you the technique that I was doing to her hair. And when it's finished, you get to have shadows and highlights, and the curl starts working around the color. So that's what we're going to do today. This is a great technique for fall. So anyone who is asking for a fall color, deepening their root a little bit or giving it a shadow root or a smudge root, this is a really fun technique. So what I'm going to be using today, because I want you to see the difference, is I'm going to be using zero ammonia free.
Ooh.
So I know, zero ammonia free. So here we go. We have a 1.0, which is a level 1 natural. So we're going to be using 1.0 from zero ammonia free, which is our ammonia free color, along with 10 volumes. So we'll mix 40 grams of color to 60 mils of developer. So this is our zero ammonia free, and we also have a primary permanent color, but we'll feature primary on another live later.
All right.
So this is what I've done. So I've started the new growth application, and I've gone through this technique this way. So this is what we're doing. We're shattering the line that I just put on the new growth. You do not want to have a strong line. So of course I've gone in, I've touched up this mannequin. What I did in between is I've picked up each of the curls as they lay. You can see I kind of re-wet the hair. I'll talk about that in a minute. I combed through with one comb, and then I shattered the root with the other. So what I do is once you apply a new growth and you want to give it a shattered effect or a shadow where you don't have a strong line, I do this on all my new growth applications.
Super trendy technique right now.
It really, oh, is it? Yeah?
I think so.
Okay, cool. Because I love, this is, it helps create, it helps alleviate bands in the hair. So you stick the comb in, you drop it at a 45, and then you gently just push it through.
Why the 45?
The 45, especially with this pintail, what's this pintail?
It's the 102.
The 102. You know, how many times do I ask you?
That's
Every
okay.
live we do. Every live I'm like, what is this in 102? So what happens is when you take the comb in straight on, do this and then do this, what you're doing is you're grabbing some of the color and you're sliding it up. So there's another technique that I do, and it's with my hand. After I'm done, sometimes I'll, and this gives it that varying at the new growth and the shadow. I'll put a new growth on, I'll put foils in. What I'll do is I'll pick up the hair between the foil, and then I'll just use my finger as well.
Oh.
If I look and I say I want this to drag down a little bit more, I'll grab the color, slide it down, and then as I start to dismount, I'm going really slow. I pinch it and pull out. So however, wherever I want that shadow to go, I'll pick up some color, watch, and I'll just slide it down, just so gently slide this down, then I'll grab it and I'll pinch it and I slide. You can see how I just pulled some of that dark through. And when I pinch, it just kind of like wipes my gloves off. So it doesn't, it won't.
It's a 2-for-1.
Yeah, it just really, it's kind of like doing a reverse balayage with the shadow.
Cool.
So those are the techniques that I'll be working with today. So this is a beautiful way of creating a shadow. Glide, pinch, and then pull. And it will give you a beautiful dismount of color. So the other one would be your comb. You need one comb to make sure that you comb through all the knots. Because team, I'm going to tell you this, ask me how I know. If you don't comb all the knots through and you grab this comb to pull at a 45 and pull all the way out, if you stop halfway, you're going to get a band in the hair with that shadow color. I promise you.
Question. Is the pinch technique and the comb technique the same end result?
The pinch technique and the comb technique will give you a beautiful blended shadow, pulling it out, kind of like a very, yes. But the difference would be you can pull this out and be more direct where you want it. So I'll use my finger when I'm very specific. And I'll use the comb when I just want to shatter it all and get it uneven.
Awesome.
Right? So it gives it that uneven. So what we're going to do is mix up some new product, because I did get this prep for you. The worst thing I could have done is done this new growth application. It's like watching paint dry. So I'm going to mix up some more zero ammonia free 1.0 with 10 ball. So earlier Gerard had mentioned revolutionizing the world of hair color. I want to tell you how we do at Color Space. This is something that is very, very important to us. My business partner, Ray Chiavello, all of you may know Ray Chiavello. We wanted to make sure that we were going to revolutionize not just the world of hair color, but how we're going to do it is through innovations. And this is one of our innovations, is the Unimix. The Unimix does a couple of things. It mixes up the intended ingredients properly. The lid is here to help protect our lungs as colorists, because we are inhaling all of this stuff. Also, it brings this product look count all the way up to body temp. This brings this hair color to body temp. This right here, this temperature button, will bring that color up to body temp, so it prevents thermal shock, the beginning of thermal shock, which creates sensitivity. So this is our Unimix team. It makes sure that you get all the intended ingredients, and what I'm doing right here is I'm just getting all the developer, and I'll put it back inside there and let that go. So you've got 2 minutes of mixing. What can you do in 2 minutes? What can you do in 2 minutes? Eat lunch.
Go on Instagram.
Go on Instagram. Go to the bathroom. Text home. So this will mix for 2 minutes, and when it's finished, it makes an amazing texture like no other. So this team will also, I found using the Unimix, because the texture is so amazing, I save up to 10 grams of product. So it does save product as well. So this is one of our innovations that we brought to the table at Color Space.
While we're waiting for this to mix, I just wanted to say hello to everybody. We've got an awesome audience tuning in here. So just wanted to say hello. Don, Cade, all kinds of awesome people. If you guys have questions, let it rip.
Let them rip. All right, so we're almost done here. Now, the one thing that I think is really amazing about this Unimix is that you can mix your powder lighteners on this as well. Okay, it's beeping, and she is done. All right, so we're gonna take this over, and this is what's cool. This stainless steel bowl is food grade quality, so it's safe to mix your chemicals in. And also, this is the magnet that's at the bottom of this. And you can see how it like catches, and that's what's actually mixing. This magnet is spinning around, just like if you were going into a lab and you can see them mixing up chemicals. This is exactly what we're doing. We're making sure that these intended ingredients are done. All right, so I've prepped this mannequin. I do want to tell you, I left the back, just a little back quarter quadrant, because I wanted to share with you a couple of tips on new growth application. So, especially if you're going darker. So we're keeping the pieces that are lighter, and we're actually going darker. Let me pull this up and out, and I will show you. I'm going to give you a couple of tips on some new growth application. So most of the time, I do not outline my quadrant. And the reason why is because when you take your parting this way, you're grabbing that color and you can pull it down. So I did do this. I was prepping this and I was like, oh, I should show a new growth application. So that is why that is outlined. So please, team, you would do your outline. I know a lot of people have been trained to outline first.
And then go into the subsections?
Then go into your partings. What happens is, Kel, watch. I can take a really fine parting. See that? Watch right here. It's pulling color through. And if you're even doing that with bleach, you're going to start overlapping color. And that's the one thing you don't want. So I have this piece here. So I'm going to reapply up through here. Now, the one thing that I constantly do, you'll notice, is I wipe my brush off. So I'm going to pull up here, pick up product. And one thing I do not do is I don't dip. I don't dip. I pick up. So then I have enough product using tension. I'll apply to the new growth and I'll pull up to the section above it. I'll take my next parting, which is super fine. This is really important. If you take big chunky partings like this, I find that when you're pressing, you'll pull this too hard and you'll start going past what you intended to do at your new growth, and you can create overlapping in bands. So here's my fine parting. Let me go back. All right, I'll press up because remember, I already did the bottom. So this is up. Now I'm going to take this and apply again right through there. Take a really fine parting, pull this up, and I'm not pressing back, I'm pressing out. Super important. If you press back, watch what happens, Cal. I don't know if you can get a really tight shot. I'm going to do this on purpose so you can see what happens. If you pull this up too high, watch how all this color now, watch. I just put color all the way up there that I didn't need. So you're always going to pull it out, not up into what you previously colored. So let's do this. Take my fine parting, pick up product, not dip my brush. Okay, I'm going to pull this out. Got that again, and you can see that little nuance of that movement. Watch, I'll show you again. In order to keep it to stay up, I'm pulling it out, but I'm just gently pulling it into that hair. There you go. So, as we keep going. So zero ammonia free. This is another innovation. Let's talk about the innovation of zero ammonia free. We have a micro dye molecule. A micro dye molecule is pretty impressive because we've taken this big 17 to 21 micron chunky dye molecule and broke it down to 1 to 3. It's like getting a sugar cube and crushing it down into like a really fine powder. So that's what we have as far as our dye molecule. This is a pretty innovative piece because it helps with preventing fadage in the hair. And we don't have to have a high percentage of alkalizers because we don't have to lift up the hair so much to get that tiny dye in there.
Lift it to deposit is
yeah.
fadage. I'm loving the fadage.
Yeah.
Love that terminology.
Yep. Helps prevent the fadage. Okay.
Why though? Why? It's because you're not lifting it so high.
So you're not lifting that cuticle up because every time you open up a cuticle, it doesn't come back all the way. So it lifts up and it doesn't come back. So if you have a really high alkalizer, it's blowing up that hair shaft to get that big dye molecule in the hair. Because we have a tiny dye molecule, we don't have to have.
You're not blowing it out of the water.
Correct. Because it can go inside the hair with the cuticle, not even lifted as much. All
awesome.
Right. So we've got our, now when you do a new growth application, what you need to do when you drop it down, team watch, I'm pulling these up and out. And you can see exactly where my partings were. And the reason why you want to make sure you pull this out for a new growth application, oxygen needs to get in there. So if you're painting it flat and you let it sit flat without pulling it up, and you can even see here, Cal, like right in through here, you can see every parting that I've taken, and I've pulled it out so oxygen can come in. Sometimes, and if you've ever experienced this, there might be times where it's too flat. And if you've ever done a new growth application and you know you got the right formula and you know you saturated the crap out of it, it was like really, really thick with product, and it's not deposited, it's because there's no oxygen that got in there. It's colored. It needs oxygen to process. Okay, so those are your tips for your new growth applications. So now what I want to do is show you some techniques on creating that shadow. So our beautiful innovation, our microdye molecule, on our zero ammonia free, we'll process when we're finished for 40 minutes. And then what I'm going to do is shampoo, and then we'll take a picture and post it up later. All right, so let's start at the front. This is what you have to think about. You have to think about what you want to keep for a highlight and what you want to shadow. It's almost the opposite of thinking about a highlight. because this way the highlight's already here. What you're adding is the shadow. So we're gonna pick up one comb. This is what I did. So what I do when I do this type of a curl, I'll place the new growth and then I'll go through, just mist it with water, twist it back out into its curl form, and then I start. So I'm gonna start at the top, push this way, and then I'll come back to the other side. So here we go. So here's one of my curls. I'm looking at what the curl is. You have to read what the curl is doing. So I can see all of this is gonna be the light. What I do is I'll take a diagonal from underneath it, just slice it out, and then I'll hand paint a little bit of the new growth. And remember, you have two options. You can either put it in a foil, you can do your comb. Watch, remember your comb, ready? Here's your comb. Or you can take your finger, remember, slide it down and then pinch out. Once you start pinching, that's when you're wiping it off. So that's where you start to get that really pretty dismount of color. And I'll leave the tip of that curl light. Okay, so just lay it over. Okay, then this one, let's look at this curl. So I am just working randomly on these curls.
Why a diagonal?
Diagonal on that one because the hair was coming from the top over. So I diagonaled it so I could get underneath. The goal of this technique, see how, Cal, see how this one is going like this and like this?
A little bit more squiggly.
More squiggly, but see how the hair is on the top? I want to keep that. I want to go underneath and give that. You guys, a highlight is not a highlight. See that? So if I put the low on here, check this out. If I put the low on here, that's gonna make this stand out more. See that?
So this one you took less of a diagonal and more of like a horizontal?
Yes, yes. And then this one, I might just take that much. So what you wanna do is have a variation of what you're doing behind the curl. So I'm gonna slide and then pinch that off.
I'm just wondering, Lupe, and again, for those of you just joining us, this is a haircut that I did a few days ago. You can watch that if you want to see the whole look.
I love this cut.
Of course, we'll put out some finished images so you can see how everything worked together. But there's some micro kind of short pieces on the top, and there's skip razoring all throughout. Like, how did you read the haircut? Did it determine how
so
you color it?
I got the mannequin, I went through and combed it. I love coloring Gerard's cuts. And I shook out the long bits. And in my head, I know those long bits I want to keep. So I could see where those micro bits are inside here. So you can see every once in a while when I pick up,
Something drops out.
something drops out. I will grab those and keep those for death because they're shorter and they're going to give that curl some substance, and that's going to be their shadow root. That'll be the shadow root. Okay, so here's this curl right here. And what happened is Gerard defined all these curls. So I see this curl laying this way on top. I'm going underneath. So this is almost like a flat diagonal. See that?
This almost the same as the first curl.
Yeah. And I'm just gonna take, and I'm gonna paint this one a little bit further. All the way, almost all the way down.
Oh wait, so question, Lupe, you're just working with one color.
One color.
Awesome.
The new growth, and that's it. You guys, this is the best, the fastest technique that I like doing for curly hair. Okay, here I've got another curl. And the chunkier you get the curls to come back, like you really, okay, here's some that we were talking about. You can see some of these pieces that Gerard had done. That one, I would love to grab, and that I'll take, and I'll leave that as a shadow, because I'm gonna count on this to be the background, the interior for the curls. A highlight's not a highlight unless it's next to something that is darker in level or tone. Okay, so here's a good curl right here. I'm gonna comb that out just a little bit just to see what's happening. Okay, and then the curl looks like it's going that way, so I'm gonna take this at a diagonal going back. So it has to do with what the root, the direction that that curl is telling you it's going to fall. All right, so let's paint. And it's not, this one I'm gonna do heavy. This one I'm gonna do heavy. I wanna see some of that come through. Okay, let's do this and then wipe off your comb. So it's really important to have your towel laying with you. So this towel is gonna be the most used tool for the trolley. All right, so let's pick up this curl. Remember, so I have two combs. One's lighter, one's darker. And the lighter one tells me to get rid of all the tangles. Now you can see right here through the haircut. Reading that haircut, Gerard left me some of these little pieces right in through here. See that? I'm gonna take those. Okay, so we're gonna leave the front of the face lighter. We're gonna leave the front of the face lighter. And we're gonna take a section inside there, and that's gonna be our low.
Amy Thornton is saying, thank you for the curly cut info. Love curly hair and curly cut techniques.
Thank you. Gerard has, I hope you guys go back and watch because it's really impressive how he controls that hair. And it's fun to color his haircuts because there is a defined moment where you can see what the hair is doing, and I love coloring his cuts because of that. Okay, so now we're just picking up curls and we're going for it. So the key to this, team, is to make sure you look at where the direction of the curl, so this is coming around this way. So I'm gonna take it from underneath. So I'm looking at the direction of the curl.
So while it seems like pretty quote unquote easy, it's really not. There's a lot involved here.
You have to think about the type of curl. Is it the right curl that you can do this on? And the product choice, you could do this with a demi. You can do this with a permanent hair color. This one is an ammonia free. The product that I did use on my girlfriend was our new 3D EMI. Which
Hey.
And we are going to be featuring it on our next Hair Brain Live.
Oh, good.
Please come back in 2 weeks. We're going to be doing a lot of some fun techniques. All right, so here we go. We've got this, and you can see all of that texture that Gerard corrected on or created on the interior. Those are the pieces I'm really working on. Gee, did you cut those pieces on purpose on the interior?
Yes, I certainly did.
Because it's telling me where the curl is. So I know exactly which ones to paint.
Yeah, if you go back and on our feed a little bit here, it was 2 days ago, I did the haircut, and I did something I've been playing around with the razor, where I cut a bit with the razor, then I skip, and I cut a bit with the razor, then I skip. So I do it on the face frame, and I for the first time actually ever, it's a mannequin, you get to practice and try out different ideas. I elevated the hair, I came in and I went 1, 2, 3, then I slid and didn't cut anything, and then I went 1, 2, 3,
cool.
and slid in. So that's why you have the short and the long, the short and the long. And I've been playing around with that. I'm going to continue next week. I'll do another lesson. I'm probably going to keep exploring this concept and see what I can do with it at different lengths and textures.
I'll tell you, when I was combing through the mannequin, what I really liked. So here I'm gonna soften up that line right there, just from the new growth application. It looks like I didn't, so I'm just gonna pull it. Can you see how it just broke that up? Isn't that cool? So you stick the comb in straight, turn it at a 45, and pull. And you can get, if you do it a couple of times, you'll get different random shadows through the hair. So that's what we've got going on right here. So this one is gonna go up, and here we've got that little underneath cut that Gerard did right here. So let's do that. Let's paint a little bit through here. And if you notice, I'm not going all the way down. I'm just going to the end. And some of them are really low as I'm hair painting on them, and just slide and take down. So you see that right there? I'll just do that. That way these stay lighter.
And I know when Lupe started, Shirley had some color applied, so if you guys want to see what the haircut looks like pre-color, you can see the effect there of the skip razoring. And then we're going to see it now with Lupe's beautiful color.
Yeah, I love, and you can see I just picked up these pieces. These are really done. So I'm going to take this because they're around the hairline. I'm leaving the hairline light. So it's almost as if she's come in, got a little smudge root, and got her highlights done. And this is a really fun technique to do. Okay, so now I'm gonna pull these down just gently, And if, because it's curly hair, if the hair lays on and it transfers, it's okay because team, it's gonna rope around. So you're fine, don't worry about it. If you wanna do this with foils, you could totally do it with foils. This is to save a lot of time. So you can see in through here, we're gonna leave that front lighter, and then let me turn her, and maybe you can see how we have all these interior deeper pieces to define that curl. So let's go on to this side. Here we go. So let's start here. So if you have any questions, let me know about this. If you have, okay, so here we've got our curl.
We're still stuck on the what is it? 3D.
Oh, 3D EMI.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, we're stuck on that.
Still very challenging.
Yeah, we can't get past that.
Oh,
I'm like ready for 2 weeks already.
It is absolutely beautiful. I cannot wait to share with you. We've been working, it's been 3 years in the making. It is absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so this way, up and over. We've got 44 shades to share with you.
Wow.
I know, it's really exciting. It's absolutely beautiful. And it's, talk about the innovations. The innovations with that is, you know, it's a hair color with scalp hair. Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna slide and then drop it out. So these pieces here, team, that are coming forward, let me turn her just a tad bit more so you can see. So her root is coming this way and the curl is going that way. So again, I'm gonna pick up the curl, sorry about that, and I'm gonna go right below it. A highlight's not a highlight unless it's next to something that has different level or tone. So think about that. So think about how you can do this on your blondes that are a level 25 and they say, I need highlights, right? So you could totally do this technique and add those shadows that you're gonna do a smudge root or a shadow root on someone that's a level 10. You can still do this. You can start off with a gloss all over and then do a little shadowing with the next color. Okay, this is coming around this way, so I want to go underneath that. And see how this curl comes around here? That's what you're gonna see, the darkness. That's how you define the curl with color. All right, so let's take this, and this is gonna be more of a diagonal. See how I picked that up, Kel? Right there.
And you just carved out that underneath curl.
I carved that out, and this is gonna be deeper. Pull this up and over, and let's get some color on this.
Amy was mentioning that she's tried the your comb at the 45, and she says it works great.
Yes.
Awesome.
Amy, it gives such a beautiful blend, doesn't it? It really helps with taking that color and diffusing that line. The 45 helps drag it out. You can see how at the comb at the T, I'll go slow. You can see how it's just dismounting that color right there. Now, if you want to go further down, you can just pick up pieces, or if you think that you left a line, as gently as you can, or you can slide down color and then go tight and squeegee it off. All right, so let's go to here. Remember, we're leaving this front piece. We're going to keep some highlights. Let me turn this way.
There she is.
Here she is. Here we go, and I can see the curl is going like this. So I want to take this under here.
Does it, as you're working, does it become kind of autopilot? Like you,
yes.
As you're doing it. I mean, I know you're explaining it, but you know, if you're behind the chair doing it, you're.
Oh, it's so fast.
Right.
This is seriously so fast. And when I do this, I never even thought about it because this is something that I've done for a long time. It's just something that it just hit me. Why not put some definition behind there? And when I was doing my friend's hair, she was like, why don't you teach this? This technique is really cool, because she could feel what I was doing. So that's gonna go this way. And what you're doing is you're customizing. This is something that's really cool. You're customizing for that curl. So I'm gonna pick this up, pull this down, just lightly. I'm not gonna do a lot. I'm just gonna do a little, and then I'll just grab some of the color and slide it down. There you go. And then, let's look here. We're gonna leave that, leave that, leave that. Remember, we're leaving all of the hairline. So everything around the hairline, I'm gonna leave light. Her fringe, however, I am not. We'll get to that in a second.
Ooh.
I know. We're gonna do something silly right here. Okay, so I can see that coming around like so. Let's take it, this one looks more horizontal to me. Here, drop that down. Let me pick up some of that, some of that. So after I apply the new growth formula, I'll go through with my comb. I'll shatter the root, comb with the clean comb, take this comb 45, pull it out just like this. So I'm gonna stick my comb in 45, and you can already see how it pulls some of that color off. And you can see how pretty that is. And now the next step would be, your option is gently slide color down, and when you get to where you like it, just pinch and then slide. And you can see it just gives it a really pretty, see how that dismount is? It's really nice. Okay, so then our last curl, it's coming up and over. Look at the root, because the rest of the hair, if it's already combed out, you're not gonna really be able to see it. Right, so let's do this. I'm gonna pick this up and do this. Okay, so to recap that new growth application, always dip your brush in no more than what your new growth is. So if you've got 1/4 of an inch of a new growth, you're only allowed to dip your brush in 1/4 of an inch. You always make sure when you're done with your new growth application to pull the hair out from where the hair grows on the head. That way you get oxygen inside there, because it needs oxygen to process. Oh, this one's gonna be pretty. Look at that curl already. That's pretty, and this is the top. This is the owner of that shadow. Look at, that's the owner of that shadow. That's cool. It's fun to see when you bring them back how they're gonna rope around. You can see how the curls are already, see that? See how that's what you're looking for. So when that dries, that shadow is gonna make that lighter T-tone color pop out. All right, so now let's customize the fringe.
Yes.
So the fringe is the focal point. What Gerard did with this fringe is he took the center piece, of course shorter, and then he has a tiny bit of this that is kicking out on the side. What was your focal point for this?
Well, this is kind of where the drop started. If you watch, you know, I did that idea of razoring 1, 2, 3, then skipping 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2, 3, then skipping on 1, 2, 3. So it's shorter and longer and shorter and longer. But since it's done with the blade, it's very loose and organic. And the goal was to have structure without definition.
Yeah, I like that. And I like how, if I were to go up horizontally, so you worked vertically or horizontally?
So all of this was diagonal back and cut a natural fall. And then I just did about 4 or 5 sections around the crown where I elevated and did the same.
Okay.
And again, you guys can watch the whole lesson.
I like that. So this is giving me an idea. So I'm hearing him say he did diagonal. I'm actually going to go horizontal then, because I want to kind of go against the grain so it's a little bit more powerful. So diagonal, when he cut diagonal, it's giving it a really soft finish. I want these to be the focal point of the hair. So I'm going to take a horizontal parting and I'm going to read the haircut. This team, I'm going to bring these all down and I'm going to take them dark. I'm going to take them dark. So she now is going to have a frame here and the rest is going to pop. And then as we lay these, I'm going to work pie section, ding, 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 that way. Okay?
Awesome.
So let's do this. So I'm going to actually put a foil just to keep her face clean because this is 1.0 and I know we're going to have a picture after and I'm going to get judged. All right, here we go. I'm going to take this. Let's put her foil. And we're going to take this all the way to here. So when you're customizing, when you're creating a look for someone, this is as low as I'm going to do. Check it out. So I'm reading the haircut this way horizontally. So my brush is following that haircut to here. This is going to get combed now because I want a really soft dismount, but I don't want her ends to be solid. So I stopped with my painting to here, following the haircut, and then I combed it out so it'll have a really soft dismount. So I'm going against, Gerard did a diagonal, I'm going to work horizontal. So let's hold this piece up So think about when you're cutting and you're coloring on your haircut, what can you do to give it, to make that pop out a little bit more? So let's take this piece, let's look at the fringe. I like this, make sure I'm at the same fringe point. I'm at the same fringe point. And we're gonna follow the haircut shape like so. So my foil will go in, holding this out at a 90. That helps me to see the line of the haircut. So then let's apply, apply, apply. I'm going to follow the line of the cut, just like so. And I'll stop maybe about an inch right before. Make sure it's saturated. So you'll notice I'll apply the color. This is a nuance that a colorist helps a colorist apply color. I'll apply with my brush flat and I'll put it vertically and I'll roll it back and forth or just massage it like so, just to make sure that you get the color all the way in. So I really like this fringe, G. So here.
Well, there you can see the different lengths and
yeah,
how they don't
love
connect.
it. I love it. I love that it doesn't connect. And it looks more, it gives a more natural feel to it. And it works with the texture. I find if you cut, I've seen if you, and I've even experienced it because I cut. If I cut a strong line on something that has movement, it just looks weird.
It takes away from the movement, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
it doesn't want to be solid.
No.
And that was a great point to leave the ends out.
Yeah, I like, because it's going to look like it's naturally out in the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay, so here
Awesome
we go.
tip there.
So here, now, I think what I want to do, because I want to look at what he did diagonally, and kind of go against what the diagonal did, because I like, watch what happens when I pull this up. When I pull this up and I look at the cut, you can see how these pieces, I'm going to shake out the longer pieces and I'm going to do the same. I'll take the underneath, right through here, watch how that curl falls. Do you see that, Cal? How it goes? I'm going to take half of that and we're going to put color through here. So what I'll do is I'll put the new growth color on, and I love doing this with great coverage as well. And as the product is, I'll set my timer, and as the product is processing, I just go through and I do little pieces like this through the whole head. Okay, so here, let's look at the curl right there. It's doing the same thing. Now, if you have someone who has uneven curls, I would still work with that curl. Whatever the curl is dictating to you, this is what you're customizing for that texture of hair. Slide it through. I'm gonna think I'll pinch that one just through just a little bit. And then let me dismount. Right through here. And I'm using the darkest color that we have so that you can see the texture like. So for example, you can
It will really show.
See how that is, and look at how the dismount of that color happens. Okay, so then let's do our last curl here.
I think the only time where they use the term dismount more often is in gymnastics in the Olympics.
I do use that term a lot, don't I?
Yeah, you certainly do.
When I do foiling and you take your pinto
It's like
comb
the hair
out, I
color
call it,
gymnastic Olympics.
This is it. It's the Olympics of
Now
hair
it's
color.
time for the dismount.
This is the revolution. This is the dismount right here. Okay, so here we go. We're here. And I'm going to slide that all the way out.
I still don't get how pinching doesn't bring the color all the way to the end. It's so strange to me.
It's almost like you're gently grabbing the color and you're pulling it down. You're working it down. And then when you get here and you pinch it, it's almost like squeegeeing it off. You want to try it?
You did.
So we'll take that down. I do want to do something inside here because this is a big chunk that's moving forward. So here we go, here. And let's take this piece here. Okay, so I'll go in slow motion so you can see when I'm working the product down, you can get in there tight. Okay, so here, I'll comb, get a really nice dismount. So if I want to bring this a little further down, because I want to get that hair. So I'm going to gently, I'm not closing my finger, I'm gently massaging the color. It's kind of like I'm using my finger to paint color on. How about that? Like I'm pulling it down, right? So now right here, let me do it this way. I'm gonna grab that, and then right when I get to the part where I want it to start fading out, where I want the blend to happen,
Just pinch harder.
pinch as hard as you can. And what'll happen is, it's almost like you're sliding it and then you stop. So you can see my finger got tight. And it's just gently dismounting that color. And we'll come back to this so you can see this one. I'll put that one right there. All right. So
Cool.
let's move to this one. This one is going up and over this way. So let's take this side and we'll do the same. Here and here. So you can do this. You can do this even on straight hair if you know how they're going to wear their hair. You can totally do this on straighter hair. All right, so let's get this. Someone who curls their hair all the time. And this is what's really cool about this technique is that it's random. Okay, so you can see where Gerard added.
A lot of people were mentioning how awesome this, it's so custom.
It's very customized. Okay, and then pinch. So I'm gently sliding. I'm gonna work slow. Gently sliding, gently sliding, gently sliding, and then pinch. Right?
And it's something different for the client, so they stay interested.
Yeah. They're like, hey, what are you doing? I'm pinching your hair. All right, so here, let's do one right. No. Let me look. Yeah, actually. Okay, we're gonna split this one in half because I have one on the other side. I'll look to see for balance. Just keep checking in for balance. This. Even for reds, team, think about your redheads. Can you imagine doing a copper?
A cowboy copper?
A cowboy copper.
Okay, what is this term exactly? What does it mean?
It's like
just
auburn.
it's
like
auburn.
it's like a copper auburn. I don't know.
Why did it get the word cowboy attached?
I don't know, maybe Jesse from Toy Story. I don't know.
Where did
I
the
mean, here's the thing.
same
I
place
don't
where the
mind-
wolf came from?
Yeah.
This is always a big conversation for us, and I don't mind it if clients use that name and it gets them to come in and want to have their hair colored,
Do
and
it.
that's a great thing.
Yeah.
I don't get all upset like people say, why do they keep coming with it? But I'm just wondering, where did that one come from? Where did it
I don't know. If
It's Cousin
anybody-
Wolf.
The what?
It's Cousin Wolf.
Cousin Wolf?
I just wonder where they come from. I guess we'll never know.
I don't know.
We'll just say it came from TikTok. How's that?
Yeah.
Definitely
I don't-
came from
I
TikTok.
don't really mind it because I love coppers. You guys know I love our reds. And our reds, hands down, are gorgeous. Okay, back here, I have the opportunity to do bigger chunks. Okay, I'm not going to be as detailed because that's really...
Taken care of.
Yes, we want to get in here and start pulling through some pieces. So in the back,
Oh, you're talking like
I'm talking about
chunks.
chunk. I'm going for it. So here, comb through and drop it out. See how it's just like, that's the curl. See that? And don't worry about it if it's next to something. I will pull a little bit of this out because I'm gonna go chunky underneath. Here we go. See that? I'm gonna move that over. I want this big chunk of curl. This is where you're allowed to get a lot of shadow, especially with this haircut. It's allowing me to go for it around here. So I'm gonna put my comb in, do that, squeegee it, drop that down. So watch what happens when this hair comes around. So you're gonna have a really nice shadow for that piece. So in these back pieces, big chunky. So I'm gonna take this out. Let me clip that up and out of the way. And I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna pick up the big curl. And you'll notice people who have textured hair underneath, right in their nape areas, when they can get, you can get really solid big curls. Okay, here, squeegee that out. So when that hair drops on top, check it out. You'll have a really nice shadow underneath there. Okay, so let's do this side. It's so much fun to hair paint this way. Okay, here. Lift up
Getting
the
out of
top.
your normal just balayage or
and
even
if you're
foil.
tired of foiling, can you do this with foil? Yes. If their hair was longer, I would probably put foil just for control, in that it wouldn't get everywhere. Okay, so then here, and you can do your own little triangles. You can do whatever. Okay, team, see that? That happened from me moving around and pulling it up. You can see there's a little spot. Can you see that, Kel? I'm gonna show you how to get rid of that spot. It's right there. So what you will do is take your comb, whatever you have color, if you have color on there, comb it, and this is when this comes in handy, because you want to make sure that it's really painted and you can make sure it's solid with the color. Wipe your hands off. I'm constantly wiping my hands off, and then right here I'll squeegee that. So now it took care of that spot. See, it's gone.
In a jiffy.
In a second. Okay, so then we're gonna take this piece down.
Nobody has to know.
Nobody will know. She won't know. She won't know. All right, so I'm gonna take here, let's move this out. And this is a super fast technique. When you're working through the back, it's really quick. So now I'm just gonna go for it, because in the salon I would work really fast just so that this was processing. So and you guys have the idea, squeegee. So you can see me working. Here's the bottom, the top part of that curl. Clip it out of the way. I'm gonna grab some space that lets that one go in between. Grab some of that. You can see where Gerard cut some shorter pieces. Pick that up. All right, so with zero ammonia free, we let this process, depending on your developer type. I'm going darker, so I would want it to set a little bit longer. So we're gonna let her process for 35, 40 minutes. Then what we do is we'll shampoo twice, and then team, talking about the innovation, this is where we go and add stop. I want to show you this real quick.
That's just not for lightener.
Yes, so stop. I want to show you this real quick. So this is stop it. Just stop it. Okay, so that stop liquid, that's a great working spray. This team is stop cream. This is what I put on the very last step of this color service. Let me show you. I'm going to show you guys how it works. Come on over.
Let's do it.
Oh, let's do this. What stop does, stop goes into the hair and it actually stops all the chemical process. So here we go. Let me mix up. This is some color. This is primary. This is our first calibrated hair color, which is another innovation, is primary ammonia color. And this team is getting mixed up. We're gonna mix her up. We're getting her nice and solid. Now let's talk about stop. Stop is a pH finisher. You have liquid, which if you were done with your foils, you could open your foils, wipe them, spray stop, tap it, it will stop. So then the rest of your foils can actually catch up. Cream stop is your very last step. It has shea butter. This is hydrating and repairing. So what you're going to do is put stop on. It is a pH normalizer. A pH normalizer goes into the hair, goes onto the hair, and it shuts that cuticle down. But wait, there's more. This has manganese gluconate in it. So yes, it shuts the cuticle down, hydrates, and repairs. What its job is to kill all chemical actions in the hair. It exhausts all the developers, it exhausts all the chemical action in the hair. So let me show you what it does. It goes into the hair shaft. Okay, ready, Kel? This here, right here, is our primary hair color. Okay, it's nice, it's creamy, it's pretty. I put it on your hair, I process it. Then what I do when I shampoo, this is the chemistry. You ready, Kelly? So I'm gonna put a couple, oh, I should do this a little bit. So I'm gonna put a couple of pumps. Now, this is being very dramatic. I'm not saying that your hair is gonna go crazy, but what it will do is it will take any chemical that's working in the hair. Look at it, it's exhausting it. Can you see? Watch. It's exhausting it. It's
Wild.
taking it and it's taking all the chemicals, oops, and blowing it out so it stops working. Look at that.
That's wild.
This shows you what happens when you get a chemical that is working in the hair. This exhausts it so that you don't have post-color processing after you leave the salon. Most people will leave and if you haven't shampooed their hair out properly, they're walking around with chemicals still in their hair. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
A pH normalizer will shut the cuticle down, but it will not exhaust any of the chemicals that are in the hair.
With this, is there a specific formula? 1 pump, 2 pump, 5 pump?
No,
Just-
it's a conditioner. This is the conditioner.
So whether you put 1 pump or 5 pumps, it's still going to do its job.
It's still going to do the job because your first shampoo, ready? Color has a pH. So when you hit it with water, it's already starting to drop it down. That's shampoo 1. Shampoo 2 is bringing it down again because the pH of shampoos are lower than color. So it starts bringing the shampoo. So after the second shampoo.
So by the time you're ready for stop.
Yes, it's already started to like calm down with the pH. What this does, because it's a pH, the pH of this is 3.9. So it really brings it back down and shuts that cuticle, but it kills all the chemicals that are in the hair. Developer, you guys, oxygen and water. That's what developers are. So if you go outside, we're surrounded by oxygen. If you go outside, even if you start sweating and you still have chemical in your hair, it activates it again. So if you're wondering why your reds look like they're fading or your powder lighteners, if someone comes in and they had their hairline when they left and then when they come back it's gone, could be because there was still some chemicals that were inside that hair. That's what Stop does. That's the innovation of Stop. This is amazing.
Applause.
And it smells so good. But you can see what it does to it will kill anything that's still working in the hair. And it's like weird because look at how it collapses. It killed all of it.
It's like a souffle.
It's like a souffle. It just kills everything that's working. There's nothing working in this product right now because it's gone. She gone. All right.
Applause.
So, team, I'm going to finish this mannequin. We are at our time. Please come back in 2 weeks, and we are going
I'm
to
excited for 2 weeks.
I am so proud
Demi.
of Demi. Yes, I'm so proud of Demi. So we're
Super
gonna,
excited.
Can we do a sneak peek of the bottle?
Yeah, you want to bring it out? Oh, she saw the bottle. Bring it. So we have a sneak peek of what you guys. This is so beautiful. Here we go, team. I want you to meet 3D ELI.
Oh, she's so cute.
How proud are we all of Lupe? What she's done with Ray and Color Space over the past 2 years. Developed a full color line with everything that everyone could ever need. It's a true revolution in color.
It really is. Thank you.
Well, I can't help but notice the bottle. It's quite large.
It's very large. Oh, even our tubes. That's like another thing. We have 120 gram tubes. Our bottles are big. We go big.
We go in.
We supersize.
All right, guys, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you back here again in 2 weeks with the debut of the new Demi from Color.